Thank you so very much. It is indeed a pleasure to be here. And I'm speaking to you from our office here at the Church for the Fellowship of All Peoples in San Francisco, the nation's first interracial interfaith congregation. The title of my presentation tonight is The Soul of the Nation, Worth Saving? It is derived from my earnest struggle with the lofty ideals of this nation and the staggering, obvious, oppressive contradictions to those ideals, and whether the contradictions are so profound as to nullify the ideals. The first question we must raise is what is meant by the term soul. Soul can be defined as spirit, breath, animation. What is the spirit of the nation? What is alive, breathing in it? What is its essence? Many would argue that the soul of the nation is embodied in its founding documents. The beautiful words of the Declaration of Independence capture the ideals of those who courageously broke off from British rule to form this new nation. They declared, "We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness." Dr. Martin Luther King often referred to these words while addressing the contradictions in the lives of the masses of people in the United States, Black and otherwise. The preamble to the Constitution is another source revealing what is considered the soul of the nation, with its emphasis on the general welfare and securing the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, generations to come, that is. Yet there is an inherent systemic betrayal of the ideals of these founding documents in the daily reality of those living on the edges of life. The essence that they see is that of attempted genocide, slavery, disenfranchisement of women and poor people, whatever the race. This is death of the soul. Long before Eric Garner, while being suffocated by policing forces, uttered the words, "I can't breathe," the disinherited had mouthed that same cry for centuries. Another example of the idealized soul of the nation is recorded in Lincoln's 1863 Gettysburg Address, ending with the powerful words, "The government of the people, by the people, and for the people shall not perish from the earth." 37 years later, in 1900, James Weldon Johnson penned these words regarding the sojourn of Black people in this nation, words that have become part of the unofficial national anthem of Black America. "Stony the road we trod, bitter the chastening rod, felt in the days when hope unborn had died." In 1903, 40 years after the Gettysburg Address, The Souls of Black Folk was published. Its author, W.E.B. Du Bois, stated about the Black American, "He simply wishes to make it possible for a man to be both a Negro and an American without being cursed and spit upon by his fellows, without having the doors of opportunity closed roughly in his face." This is a quick cursory tour of why the question of the soul of the nation is such a crucial one for me and many others, especially those who have suffered so greatly. We gather tonight to commemorate the signing of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, adopted by the United Nations, December 10th, 1948. This is a special day in which we recognize and give gratitude for this monumental achievement in international cooperation. The Declaration is a clarion call to all nations to adhere to fundamental rights for all people, rights that are to be respected universally. It is an amazing document signed by 193 nations and translated into more than 500 languages. Many are aware of the role that Eleanor Roosevelt played as first chairperson of the Commission on Human Rights, and therefore was significantly involved in drafting the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. She stated that her work in formulating the document and getting it adopted was her life's greatest achievement. Yet there were other women, some beyond the borders of the United States, who contributed substantially to its adoption. Women such as Minerva Bernardino from the Dominican Republic, Hansa Mehta from India, and Begum Sheta Ikramullah from Pakistan. Mehta is credited with changing the language in Article 1 to, quote, all human beings are born free and equal, unquote, rejecting and replacing the phrase, quote, all men are born free and equal, unquote. It is said that her enduring legacy was her devotion to the equality of sexes as a non-negotiable fact. The idea of appealing to the soul of the international community is an important one. It is there that Malcolm X, El Hajj Malik El-Shabazz, tired of the racist machinations that he considered the soul of the United States, however, more and more believing in the possibilities of international cooperation and justice, penned his hope. Finding support for his cause and case in the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, he began organizing his hope to redress the inhumanity of the desecrated soul of the United States toward its Black members. He began working on the plans in 1964, and by the time of his assassination, February 21st, 1965, had the support of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. On this day, December 10th, 1964, Dr. King was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize. Words that he shared that night answered the question, the soul of the nation, worth saving? He stated, I accept this award on behalf of a civil rights movement which is moving with determination and majestic scorn for risk and danger to establish a reign of freedom and a rule of justice. I accept this award today with an abiding faith in America and an audacious faith in the future of mankind. I refuse to accept despair as the final response to the ambiguities of history. I refuse to accept the idea that the isness of man's present nature makes him morally incapable of reaching up for the eternal oughtness that forever confronts him. I refuse to accept the idea that man is merely flotsam and jetsam in the river of life, unable to influence the unfolding events which surround him. I refuse to accept the view that mankind is so tragically bound to the starless midnight of racism and war that the bright daybreak of peace and brotherhood can never become a reality. King believed that the genius within the soul of America was the right to fight or protest for right. In 1957, he co-founded the Southern Christian Leadership Conference with the goal of redeeming the soul of America. The soul of this nation is not the lofty words often quoted from the Declaration of Independence, the preamble to the Constitution, or even the Gettysburg Address. The soul of the nation is that essence that breath, that spirit resides because of the various freedom movements that have breathed life into it, new life. The movements that have animated it, that have broadened and deepened its understanding of humanity, human dignity, and the common ground of living that we all share. It is that spirit that has impelled vanguards and advocates of freedom to risk life for a more ethical, just, and compassionate nation. And that is indeed worth saving. Thank you.